Just like that, the sun landed and all was well in the world again after the wettest, windiest of Mays. We have just been privileged, honoured to receive the second glorious day of sunshine here in Bedfordshire. If you're new around here, me too. This is my brand new place to document the cultivation of paradise, both within and externally. What I'm hoping to cultivate is an edible, medicinal, magical, whimsical space which has rapidly become my happy place. I haven't actually had a garden or any outdoor space of my own for a really long time, so this is such a treat. I'm just working with the goddess out here. That's what we're doing. We are working with the earth goddess. The garden has been my main focus for a good 6 months, I'd say. But I know it's going to be a long-lasting love. I can just feel it in my veins now that I've discovered the joy of getting my hands dirty and watching life spring up all around me, and then the anticipation and excitement of harvesting and, eating nature's intelligence and all that good stuff, It's so rewarding. Wow, so rewarding.
So welcome to June. Let's get cracking with that goddess garden tour. Okay, so we'll start over here with the first project that I put in place, which was to take this rusty old bread spring that I found around the back of the shed and to make it the basis, the foundation and the structure for my pea bed that contains peas and sweet peas and some rainbow chard. There are some roses that were already growing, and I've added all sorts of other things, cosmos, sunflowers. I've got broad beans growing here interspersed with this beautiful blue flower that I don't know the name of, but grows really close to my stingy nettles. I've got some chives and a whole box of salad that we planted ourselves. And this rose that was pre-existing, I can now see 3 buds. I'm looking forward to seeing what colour this rose is. I have a small patch of stingy nettles, which I love, and some potatoes growing in grow bags. I've planted some fuchsias that I picked up in the nursery because fuchsias just remind me of my childhood. I think it was one of the first flowers that I learnt the name of. And down here I have a little mini circular bed, contains some petunias and some of this spreading plant, and also my wisteria, which was freshly planted. Now, they say that wisteria is one of those invasive plants. Alas, this little guy has been in the earth now for a couple of weeks and is making very slow progress. Lots growing in pots, including 4 silver birch trees, which I have plans for, and lots growing in the beds that I've built with the no-dig method. So down in this bed I have all sorts growing: celery, cosmos, sage, carex, grass, all sorts. And you can just see those potatoes springing out of the bag there at the back. Now over here in the experimental bed, I have popped in the sweet corn that I had not expected to do so well. And it's still growing. This is in the old bed. This was pre-existing. I hadn't done any work to it other than add a tiny weeny bit of additional compost. This bed I did work with. again, I used the no-dig method to widen the bed and added fertilizer for this glorious sunflower, broad beans. And tomato plant that hasn't really taken, a chili plant over here, and another tomato plant which hopefully will do better. Got some onions growing here too, some celery, a pink peony. Now, I don't know much about the distancing and the placement of these plants, and this is a bit of an experiment for me. Well, it's a total experiment. And so I'm really just giving everything a go, just going wherever the spirit takes me. So, creating a lot of interest here. We've got our mustard, which I think is about to flower. I have Clematis here, which I had totally thought had died, which has totally sprung back to life. And I'm absolutely delighted with this. And some tomatoes here growing in pots next to some structure that I created out of bamboo sticks and string and wire. So I have celery here and cucumber, another rose that was pre-existing, my chard, which looks incredible, and peas, some of which are looking better than others, and sweet peas. Now, over here in this other bed that I've created with the no-dig method, I've placed my onions, which I didn't start myself, I bought those, my Angelica gigas, and borage, we're not really sure how to pronounce it, so I'm going to flip between the two. There's a dahlia there on the end as well, and this is up against the hedge. Currently we have an enclosure for a tortoise, which I shall tell you all about another time. Here in the circular bed I have some carrots sprouting up, another borage in the middle, and some broad beans growing around the outside. And I'm tidying this up as often as I can, but I also love that it's going a little bit wild. The lawn is rebellious. I love that. Full of buttercups and meadow flowers. It's like a mini meadow. And here is an arch that I've created, which just felt like it should be there. Growing against which is this absolute showstopper, Clematis. This is the Edna or Ida or something like that. This is the part of the garden that I refer to as the fairy garden. And again, I've created another bed here, and there's all sorts growing in here. We have some sunflowers, dahlias, French bean plant, which is a joy to grow. Should hopefully produce some purple French beans. And then I have some like really interesting looking plants too, some lavender seedlings, another Angelica gigas there, another borage, and I believe that's phlox. But we are having a slight identity crisis with the seedlings since I didn't label them brilliantly. My pond and the plants in the pond are looking amazing. I just can't believe how well they're thriving. And the gazing balls are looking pretty too. So this area, as I said, is dedicated to the fairies and the fae, and it just felt right. It suited my 7-year-old self, and So I just created accordingly. And so we're just entering into the little area where I have designed and built a fairy house. We have these little stepping stones and a tiny little ladder. The fairy house itself was constructed out of an old Lego box. It still needs some work. It lost much of its roof thanks to all the wind, but I'm hoping to replace it. I've planted tiny flowers in the little fairy garden there. They look so pretty. And there are other things that I've planted, but again, I can't be sure what. I shall tell you a little bit more about the random creature house that you can see there, but for now, the real star of this corner has got to be the one and only tree on the property. And I've been waiting for the whole season, ever since I moved in, to discover what beauty this tree would behold. And you can see through the petals that need cleaning in the bird bath. I have honoured this tree with the amethyst stone, and you can just see the petals glistening there, bright yellow. On the south side of the tree, on the right hand side, they began to open first, and I got the first little indication of what was to come. But this is so glorious, it takes my breath away to stand here and look at this show that this tree provides. I've since discovered the tree is a laburnum. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And she sits taking pride of place in the south side of the garden. I have barely touched the front garden at all, only to discover what is already currently growing. And there are various shrubs and bushes and roses dotted about. The most glorious of the shrubs at the moment is this beautiful, well-established something or other sitting on the front lawn. And again, the south side of her has completely gone to bloom. So incredibly beautiful, and the smell delicious. So in this part of the garden, we have a small plot with lots of wood bark chips. Beneath that is what looks to be pretty delicious compost. But just beneath that is carpet and pavement cement. So this is an experiment that my youngest son and I conducted. We decided to throw a couple of sunflower seeds in there and see if anything has taken. So we've had success with, I think, 4 of our seeds so far, so we shall see. And here is the beautiful lawn from the other side. This is the part of the garden that I've probably worked the least in. This part gets sunshine first thing in the morning and last thing at night, and it's so beautiful. And along the fence is a pre-existing border, which I'm slowly working through. Here I've got my honeysuckle, which is growing so fast. And all sorts in pots around the patio, which include celery and leeks, strawberries and salad growing here in this Greenstalk. A chilli plant there, and some tomatoes. And that is pretty much it.
The garden is providing me with such an intense re-education. It's mathematics and science and art and history and geography, all of this, all blended into this one incredible outdoor classroom. It comes naturally to me to want to document this process, and this is the beautiful process of transformation. You couldn't ask for more than that, right? Barefoot in the garden with one's hands in the earth is like coming home, you know. It's like finding that place on earth that, you know, where you feel like you belong, you know. So I couldn't be more grateful, and I couldn't be more grateful that I'm here, and I couldn't be more grateful that you're here. Thank you. I do hope that you will subscribe, join me for the ride. Comment below, let me know a little about you. I'd like to know who's watching, where you from, what you growing.
I'll catch you in my next episode.
Bye. Peace.